everybody? Welcome to Anna Does Design. This is going to be rendition 2 of auto layout. So we're going to jump right in. We are going to build a table. Now, some things to note before we begin. We're going to build a table within constraints, size constraints, max width constraints. This will help me explain to you how to work with max widths, truncation, etc. So this is going to be our 372 width table. That's how big or how wide our table needs to be. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. If you need help on the basics or foundation of auto layout, you can watch rendition 1. I am going to start by typing table header. Let's make this semi-bold. And then I'm going to make some table rows, make that regular, name this table row. Great. So I can do this one of two ways. I can Shift A and put this into an auto layout, add to it, or I can press Command D, drag that down to the spacing that I want. So let's say 6, and then hold Command D, and then it duplicates them all. Next thing I'm going to want to do is I'm going to want to throw the table rows in their own auto layout. I'm doing this for a specific reason. I may want to adjust the sizing of the table row, right? I may want to adjust that sizing differently than the table header or the space between the table header. I am going to auto layout like objects for the sake of grouping in my mind. I'm going to press Shift A here. I'm going to name this table row. And then here I can put this in an auto layout if I want to, if I want specific sizing or padding around it. For this, I'm not going to do that. I am just going to take the table header, the table row auto layout, and press Shift A. Now we have table row with header. Perfect. Now, why I did that is because I may want to adjust this size, right? Say I might want to put the space between the actual row and the header to be, let's say 20, and I want to make these only 12, right? That way I can adjust them separately. That's really important to know. Next, I'm going to duplicate this by pressing Command D, and it should duplicate right next to it. Now, I am going to want to rename these from table row to super table row. We're going to go by size. I can do that one of two ways. And the way I work, this might not be the best way or the fastest way, but I think it's pretty fast for me, is I am going to take the table row auto layout and I'm going to press Enter. You need to pay attention to this sidebar. So now I'm selecting the children of table row, which is table row. Notice if I press Shift Enter, I'm now pressing table row, the auto layout. If I press Enter, I'm holding the children of that auto layout. Shift Enter, I'm holding the auto layout. Enter the children, just so we get it. So one thing I can do to make this go really fast is I can hold Shift and get rid of the first table row, unselect it, and delete the rest. Now I only have one in here and I'm doing this for a reason. I want to make my life easy. I want to rename this to super table row. Great. Now all I have to do is press Command D in the children and I have super table row duplicated 4 times. Easy. I'm going to do that again and I'm going to do it a little bit quicker. So now I'm going to take table row with header. Again, I can press Command D. It'll put it right next to it. I'm going to go into the children of the super table row auto layout. I'm going to get rid of the first one and I'm going to make it super duper table row. I'm also going to rename this one to super table header. Again, there could be quicker ways. I'm just going the way I know. And then I'm going to press in the children, right? Press Enter, table row. Not in table row, but press Enter, press Command D. Now I'm in the children. So now we have 5 children in each. So remember at the beginning, I said we need to fit this into 3/7 exactly. Right now, by the looks of this is going to be really squished in a 372 constraint. So something I'm going to do is I'm going to utilize max width. What that means is I'm going to apply that to my text. I'm going to press Enter once. Make sure you're paying attention to this layers panel. It's really important to acknowledge what you're actually touching. Enter again. I want to be touching the text of each of these, the header and the super duper table row text. So make sure that you can acknowledge you're touching all the text. What I'm going to do is I am going to select the type settings. I'm going to press truncate text. It's at the bottom. You can set max lines. I'm not going to do that for the sake of this. This is really high level. Get out of type settings. What I'm going to do is I am going to set a max width. That means I don't want my table row, my super duper table row, to be larger than X, the width that I set. So let's, for the sake of this, make it 120. Oops. And as you can see, that truncation is happening because I've set a max width of 120. That means Figma, or the information behind it, is saying if above 120, if the table rows are too big, above 120, truncate the text. That's what it did here. So that's how you can start to build with auto layout to put it into a table. I might even truncate for the sake of fun so we can go through it again. I'm going to truncate this one as well, super table header, just so you can get an idea. I'm not saying you're doing this in a day-to-day, but you can see how max width and truncation works. So again, I pressed enter. I'm in all the text because that's where you will see the text panel or the text area in the design panel. I'm going down to truncate. I don't care if it's one line. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a max width of, let's say 80. Perfect. It truncated. The last thing we're going to do is we're going to build an auto layout with all the table rows and headers. So if I press Option L, you can see I'm selecting table row with headers, all of them. I'm going to press Shift A to auto layout the table rows with headers, and we're going to name it table. As you can see, the table is 374. I've only made 372 of an area, 372 pixels for what the table has to fit into. So we know this isn't going to fit. What we can do is we can hold the table and we can make a max width of 372, and just wait, it hasn't adjusted yet. What we want to do is we want to take this spacing between the gaps of the table header, super table header, and super duper table header, and we're going to make it auto. What that's going to do is that's going to adjust the spacing in between to allow for the table row with headers to fit into the table. So now we have a table that's 372 pixels wide, right? And it's going to fit into the space that I've made. But are we done? No, I want padding. What I can do, because auto is already set, I can set the padding and it should adjust accordingly. So I want 16 on the sides, 16 on the top and bottom. And now our table fits much nicer into that 372 given area than it did before, because this horizontal gap between the items is doing all the work for you. So I know we built something a little more dramatic than usual, a little bigger than usual, but I wanted to show you how you can utilize auto layout to build a table, and that's it. Thank you all so much for joining Anna Does Design Rendition 2 of Auto Layout. This is a little more advanced, so maybe Advanced 1 of Auto Layout. Past the basics, but I hope you stay tuned because I'll make more of these videos. And please put in the comments if there's anything specific you'd like to see me build, or if you have a file you want to share and I can build with you. All right, have a great day. Bye.